do not have. Agenda item D, Mr. Sasser, items of community interest. How are you?
Fantastic, Mayor. Hello, everybody. A couple of quick things here. Let's start off with on Monday, February 23rd at 10 a.m. is going to be the ballot drawing. The last day to file for Town Council was last Friday. So the drawing will be to determine the order in which the names of candidates are going to be printed on the ballot for the election to be held on May 2nd of 2026 here in Westlake. The drawing will be held at 10 a.m., as I said, on the 23rd here in Town Hall. So stay tuned for the results of that. We also have our next planning and zoning meeting coming up on Tuesday, March 3rd. Westlake Academy spring break is going to be from March 16th through the 20th. And our next town council meeting is going to be on Tuesday, March 24th. A couple of additional notes. Wanted to say thanks to everybody who took part in the State of Communities address just a few days ago. Mayor, congratulations. Excellent work.
Y'all did a great job.
That's well. I see a lot of familiar faces who made their network television debut on the video in this crowd today. But it's really a great opportunity to gather around with all 7 cities that are part of the Metroport Chamber and kind of get an update about all the exciting things that are going on there. And we, of course, have many things going on here that we're fired up about heading into 2026. So that was a lot of fun. And also, I know it's been about a month, but we haven't met since then. But I want to send a special kudos for our winter weather group.
Yes.
Rosie at the school, our public works department did an absolutely phenomenal job. They always do, every single time. Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I know those guys are working 24/7s. I went up to the school; they were just killing it. So.
Yeah, and as always, those guys are always available for any questions to send updates, pictures, photos to help educate.
Seems like that was a year ago, the cold weather.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't want to miss this opportunity to say thanks to all of those guys. Those are your items of community interest.
John, a couple of things. I'd like you and Dr. Rich to get together. We have YMSL with our volunteer program coming up this Sunday. We kind of took January off for the weather. But if you guys want to include residents and students that we talked about, help me figure out how we would do that program. I won't do it at the same time. There's enough work to do, on through our roads that we could use them all. So help me figure out how we get that going, and I'll do the same thing I do for YMSL.
For this Sunday or for another?
No, just figure out a program, how we get people to sign up and stuff for it. But we'll do it whatever day makes sense. But I know I've been asked by residents, and I think some of the students wanted to get involved, so just help me with that.
Will do.
And John, one other thing I would like to mention is that early voting for the primary elections started today and goes through February 27th. So please encourage everyone to get out and vote the primary election.
Yeah, and thanks, Tammy. Just to comment on that, we have way too many elections in the state of Texas, right? I mean, it seems like we have an election a week. The special election for our Senate seat had 15% voter turnout. Now, Westlake overperformed. We had 17% of our Westlake residents vote. But, I mean, that is barely a statistical sample. So we got a couple big elections coming up May 2nd. The early voting started today, and that's for our House District 98. Those are important races, so please, everybody get out and let your voice be heard and vote.
And if anybody has any questions about those races, we have that on the front page of our website as well.
Okay, great. Thanks, sir. It was good seeing you. Okay, agenda item E, presentations. Receive Westlake Fire EMS 2025 annual report. Chief Ard, how are you, sir?
Hey, good evening, Mayor and Council. Nice to see you again. It's an honor to present to you the 2025 annual report for Westlake Fire EMS Department. We wanted to share a little bit about what happened this past year. This past year, our department continued to invest in our people, our equipment, and our training, all while maintaining a high standard of operational excellence and adapting to the evolving needs of the town of Westlake. Skip some of that. At the center of everything we do is our core values. As you can see here, it's character, mental and physical readiness, fundamentals first. We want to get the basics right. Training with purpose, dedicated response, compassionate service, and excellence in all we do. These values define not only how we respond to emergencies, but how we represent this town every day. As you can see in this organizational chart, we remain a lean but highly professional organization built on accountability and discipline and readiness. One of our most significant accomplishments this past year was successfully moving to a regional industry standard of 5-person minimum each day for our shift, 3 personnel assigned to the engine and 2 people assigned to the ambulance. The staffing model strengthens firefighter safety and improves operational effectiveness, enhances our ability to manage simultaneous tasks at emergency scenes. We wanted to highlight some of our administration. I say some, all. We've got our deputy chief and Tamara Call, our business manager. Our administrative leadership also remains strong because Deputy Chief and Fire Marshal Kelly Clements brings over 30 years of public safety experience spanning fire service, law enforcement, fire investigation, and prevention. His leadership has enhanced alignment between operations and prevention and ensuring a comprehensive life safety strategy for our growing community. We're also supported by a strong administration through our business services manager, Tamara Cole, ensuring fiscal responsibility and operational transparency. She has brought many years of professional experience from the corporate sector and multiple years from previous fire departments before joining us. Among her administration responsibilities, I want to point out, she also helps with our mental health initiatives for our department and provides support to the regional effort. As you look at our personnel tenure, I want to mention that our staffing continues to present some challenges. As you can see, we have 2 open positions in the bottom of this. I want to mention that our annual attrition rate is nearly 18%, with a cumulative 6-year attrition rate exceeding 100%. This means that over the past 6 years, we've effectively replaced our entire workforce. This level of turnover, as you might expect, results in increased recruitment and training cost, loss of operational experience and advanced clinical skills, and additional strain on remaining personnel to maintain a shift each and every day. We're currently conducting our 3rd process to fill 2 firefighter paramedic positions, underscoring the difficulty of maintaining a staffing levels in competitive labor market. I'll kind of direct your attention now to emergency response summary. In 2025, we responded to 723 calls for service. These calls include medical emergencies, fire incidents, alarms, hazardous material responses, and mutual aid. While call volume remains steady, complexity continues to increase, particularly in EMS-related incidents. You'll also see...
Chief, what is a good intent call?
A good intent call could be something that we've been dispatched to that perhaps has changed the call type. So maybe they sent us for a sick person. It turns out it wasn't a sick person. It was another type of call, a lift assist. So it depends on the nature of the call, but a good intent is sometimes that call type changes. But it's usually a public assist type related call. Good question. You also see that our mutual aid activity represented here. I want to mention that our town operates a regional response team. This means basically we're going to help our neighbors, and our neighbors are going to help us when assistance is needed. Another important part that we want to show you is it's visual on the map. It's called a call density heat map. In this heat map shows where incidents tend to cluster within the town. This helps us evaluate risk patterns, target pre-incident planning, and prioritize training in specific occupancies and geographic areas. Instead of reacting to emergencies alone, we use this data to anticipate them. Also wanted to share with you that we're monitoring our data basically by dividing the town up into 2 sectors. Basically, one being District 41, which would be like where our current fire station is. And District 42 would be a new district for a second station at some point. I want to also kind of bring your attention to the bottom of the page, a powerful example of our operational effectiveness. This past year, we had a structure fire at Deloitte University. Our crews contained a fire to approximately $30,000 in damage and preserving an estimated $39 million in property value, which is extraordinary. If left unchecked, that could have been a lot more damage. What we believe this represents extraordinary property conservation and demonstrates disciplined training, rapid response, and coordinated execution. Every call we respond to is a reflection of readiness, and readiness begins long before we are dispatched. To do that, we've got to be trained. As you can see in this slide, training remains the backbone of our operational excellence. In 2025, personnel completed over 2,400 hours of company training. We completed 4 1410 company evolutions. Those are fire-type drills that we do where we deploy hose lines off of fire trucks, and time-bounded with specific performance criteria. We have 2 live fire training facility trainings, hazardous material technician sessions, hydrant maintenance, comprehensive hose testing, and deployment drills. We believe this training strengthens our fire attack effectiveness, water supply proficiency, facility familiarization, and multi-agency coordination. Beyond company training, we want to also point out some of the professional development for our individuals. Includes CPR instructor, fire officer leadership, advanced fire inspector, hazardous material incident commander, and more. Basically, I want to share with you that our philosophy is simple. We train with purpose, we measure our performance, and we reinforce the fundamentals. To do these things well, we definitely have to be healthy. We believe operational readiness is not optional, it's a professional obligation. We maintain structured health and wellness initiatives that meet or exceed national standards for firefighters. We're really proud of that. Includes daily physical exercise, monthly fitness challenges, annual DPS road test and physical ability test, and then last, comprehensive annual medical evaluations. Equally important is our mental health resilience. We participate in the NEFTA peer resiliency team supported by the Readiness Group. I share this with you because they're even meeting as we speak at Circle T Ranch even this Friday discussing future plans. But this group helps provide confidential, grant-funded counseling services to our personnel independent of the department, allowing firefighters to access care anonymously and without financial burden. Taking care of our people ensures that we can take care of this community. Our fire prevention and community risk reduction is a critical component of public safety, and we believe that it's critical to the success of the future for our fire department. In 2025, we completed 440 inspections and 143 plan reviews. What's special about that is Westlake experienced over 2.3 million square feet of new residential and commercial construction, which is extraordinary. And I've worked in other towns. That's extraordinary growth, especially for such a small town, representing nearly $635 million in valuation, which is also another extraordinary measure. This level of growth demands on prevention services and underscores the importance of maintaining strong life safety oversight. To support this growth, thanks to you, we added a part-time fire inspector, a strategic investment to maintain service levels and uphold safety standards. As we move into community engagement, we believe strengthens trust and reinforces our partnerships. This year, we established the Run to Remember 9/11 event in partnership with Westlake Academy. We also hosted a Santa toy drive and conducted a fire station open house event for our 3rd year. The 9/11 Run event united the community in remembrance while generating charitable contributions for the Tunnels for Towers Foundation. These events remind our residents that we're not only emergency responders, we're invested members in this community.
John, we're doing all those again this year.
Yes, sir, we are.
All those are great. The open
Thank you
house,
very much.
You guys do a fabulous job across
Thank
the
you.
board.
We're going to keep doing it.
Good. What we want.
We couldn't do these things without our partnerships. I don't mention all of them, but we try to highlight some of them. We know that regional collaboration enhances our capability. It depends on our partnerships to deliver the best services we can. Through NEFTA, we collaborate with 14 neighboring departments for training, leadership development, and operational best practices. Through NetCom, our 911 dispatch services and regional interoperability. Best DMS is our medical director or control. Through them, we strengthen our pre-hospital care consistency and regional readiness. Through the Tarrant County Arson Task Force, we support fire investigations and collaborate with other fire marshals in the area. I want to highlight the next 2 relationships because they're relatively new for us. Specific to this one on the Texas Task Force, there is a Texas Task Force 1 and a Texas Task Force 2. Both take a lot of credentialing to be a member of, and they're elite groups in the state of Texas to be a part of. One of our very own, Mark Perret, achieved deployable status in 2025 and completed 2 deployments, totaling 19 days. This brings urban search and rescue capability back to Westlake. In addition, we've partnered also with the regional SWAT team. We're really proud to be part of that regional effort as well. Firefighter paramedic Jay Nunley serves as the medic for the North Tarrant Regional SWAT team, providing specialized medical support during high-risk operations. We believe these partnerships extend our reach well beyond our geographic boundaries.
Hey, Chief, are you guys involved any in the World Cup with all the people they're going to have online? Are you guys going to be involved in any way?
We're currently indirectly involved.
Okay.
From an association standpoint, when I mentioned NEFTA, NEFTA has been contacted to help with the hazardous material technician portion. We'll be backup and then also our bomb team.
Okay.
So indirectly, we're not supporting the bomb team, but we are from hazardous material technicians. So we may be involved in that. I think that may extend the reach, may be further reaching, and we may have other involvement with potentially two of these other members I just mentioned as being part of those regional teams. Good question. Just want to mention some of the frontline equipment that we have: Engine 41, Medic, Engine, and Brush. In 2025, you know that you approved a engine and ambulance to modernize our fleet. The new engine will replace a 24-year-old apparatus, and the new ambulance will replace a 14-year-old unit.
When will that be here?
The ambulance will be here in late fall of this year. The engine, late fall of next year. So it's getting closer. Getting closer. While delivery times remain extended, we continue aggressive preventive maintenance to ensure reliability and readiness. That tends to be a challenge for us. The equipment is old and has some issues with maintaining. We can't not show some of the stuff without showing you some of the budget-related issues, or not issues, but information. Adopted budget was $4.8 million, including our capital purchase of a new engine, which was $1.3 million. Actual expenditures, $4.2 million. We have some revenues. We generate some of those revenues from EMS fees, inspection fees, plan review, and those help offset some of our cost. We have to mention some of our challenges. Our primary challenges moving forward include workforce attrition, competitive hiring environment, an aging fleet awaiting apparatus for delivery, and increasing demand driven by development and growth. These challenges require strategic planning and proactive decision making. We also believe there's some opportunities for us. We believe opportunities ahead include evaluating compensation and retention strategies to improve staffing stability. We believe we have an opportunity to continue our aggressive fleet maintenance, make sure we keep things running, and expand our data-driven decision-making to guide long-term planning. By aligning compensation competitiveness with regional standards and leveraging operational data, we can improve retention and ensure sustainable service delivery. And last, I'd like to mention some recap of 2025, some of our accomplishments. We transitioned to a 5-person minimum staffing, 3 on the engine, 2 on the ambulance each day. We added a part-time fire inspector. We ordered a new engine and ambulance. We expanded community engagement, established EMS field training officers. And by the way, when I mention that, it's not new positions, it's new roles. We have existing personnel that had to take on this role to be an EMS training officer. But we wanted to increase our effectiveness on that side. Maintain operational readiness across 723 calls, and then preserve $39 million in property during a major incident. As we look ahead and grow and evolve, Westlake remains committed to anticipating future challenges while building on strong foundation of service, professionalism, and readiness. We will continue to strengthen emergency response capability, invest in training and equipment, prioritize firefighter wellness, expand data-driven planning, and enhance community risk reduction. Through proactive planning, continuous improvement, and strong partnerships with the town leadership and regional agencies, we are well positioned to meet the future demands. In closing, I want to thank you, Mayor and Council and town leadership, and for your continued trust and support. And most importantly, I also want to recognize our firefighter paramedics and our department for their professionalism, discipline, and compassion are the true strength of our department. It's an honor to lead them, and it's a privilege to serve this community. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Chief, great job. That's a great picture, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, that looks great.
Thank you.
So, Wade, I'm going to ask you guys that. 18% attrition annually is not bad, right? I mean, it's, when I used to manage organizations, you wanted 15% or less, 15% annual or less. But in a small organization, how do we solve for this? Do we know why they're leaving?
Yes, sir.
And then, I guess what I'm asking, if the board's okay with it, can we get a plan to try to address this attrition?
Yes, sir. You're going to see one next month.
Oh, well, look at you.
Describe the problem first, then give you the answer.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir. So we do exit interviews on all people that are leaving the town,
Yeah.
especially the fire department.
Yeah.
And what we've seen is most people are leaving the town for a similar position in another city with significantly more pay.
Okay.
So we're training them, and then they're taking the training that we get and moving on.
Yeah. Well, and I don't want to give up, Todd, you brought this up originally, maybe a health club membership and stuff. I think we can still work on those guys to try to get additional benefits, plus I love having the mayor.
And I'll give this to John. He's done an amazing job of ensuring
Yep.
that the culture is right
Yeah.
here, and people want to stay here. But when you're looking at a 15 to 20% raise for your family, it's hard to stay.
Yeah, you can't. We got to be competitive.
Yeah.
And Chief, I'd say I know a lot of your guys, right? We see them. They're at the athletic events. It's a great group. I mean,
Thank you very much.
Culturally, and all the feedback I get back from the residents. So thank you for everything you're doing. But let's get the attrition.
Thank you, Mayor.
Any
Council.
questions from council? Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Appreciate y'all.
Wow, round of applause, Chief. That's pretty good, bud. That is a first. Thank you. We're going to move into the consent agenda. Does anybody want to pull anything out on the consent agenda on agenda item F? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Oh my God, look at that. It is 5 o'clock. We will now start the Westlake Academy Board of Trustees meeting. Call the regular meeting to order. We have a quorum. Are there any public or parent comments? Well, we're going to put that at the end. We're going to go into the public hearing, agenda item I, public hearing with discussion. Next, we'll review information regarding Westlake Academy's 2025 charter first rating from staff, and then poll the public hearing, discuss input. Marlene, we'll get to it. Marlene, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Good evening, Mayor Graves and Board of Trustees. Thank you for the opportunity to present the fiscal year 25 charter first rating. This rating is based on audited financial data from fiscal year 24. The charter first management report that was in your board packet includes the following: the overall first rating, the indicator level results, including the description of each indicator, whether it is scored as a pass or fail, and the number of points earned. An explanation of the rating and the financial data used in calculating the indicators. These items are required under Title 19 of the Texas Administration Code, Section 109, and while this report is not submitted to TEA, we are required to prepare, present, and publicly disclose this information. So just for a little bit of history, the Charter First Rating is a financial accountability system developed by the Texas Education Agency in response to the 1999 Senate Bill 875, quite a while ago. The legislation required Commissioner of Education and the State Comptroller to establish a financial accountability rating system for school districts. In 2009, TEA expanded the system to include charter schools, at which time our rating now is called Charter First. So the rating system is designed to support 4 primary goals: to promote quality financial performance in managing public resources, to provide an additional level of financial transparency, to enable oversight and continuous improvement, and to help anticipate and project long-term financial solvency. I am so sorry. I just got to reading and I'm just completely forgot.
You're okay.
Okay, here we are. Sorry about that. So TEA evaluates charter schools using a series of financial indicators. These indicators are based entirely on audited data from the annual financial report and information submitted through PEIMS. So indicators 1 through 5 are considered critical indicators. If any one of these is failed, the overall rating is automatically lowered to substandard achievement, regardless of the number of points earned elsewhere. The Academy for this rating period passed all critical indicators. For this rating year, the Academy received Superior Achievement rating with 92 points. The point reduction occurred in 2 indicators. Indicator 7, Days Cash on Hand, measures whether available cash and current investments are sufficient to cover operating expenses. The Academy had 37 days of cash on hand. TEA rewards the full 10 points at 60 days or more. As a result, we received 4 out of 10 points for this indicator. So while the threshold is below what we would like, 37 days still represents a stable cash position, and this indicator reflects a reserve depth rather than financial distress, and our cash flow still remains steady.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yes, sir.
That I saw that was underperforming. This is something that's a known indicator, correct? I mean, we didn't
Yes.
go into a year
It is.
not knowing that this is.
It
So
is.
how could we have let
Not spending during the month of June.
say not spending?
The more cash expenditures go out the door, the less cash on hand you have. I did put
It's
together
just a year-end number.
at year end, yes, just at year end, on June 30th. So according to our budget document, we calculated the dollars per operating day at $31,534. If we were to reach 60 days of cash on hand, we would need to have an ending balance of $1.89 million at the end of the fiscal year. That would be $800,000 more than we did this last June, or June 2024. And just to kind of make a note, when we changed fiscal years to June 30th from August 31st, it was really hard to receive any points for this indicator at that point. Because campus was reopening in August, they were needing to spend a lot, and then our fiscal year ended. So our cash balance was really low at those points. So it has gotten better.
If you were to look at it month by month, June would be the only one where we would fall to that.
I'm sorry.
If you were to look at our for this indicator, if you were to look at it month by month, would June be the lowest amount of cash versus the operating?
I would have to look at that. I don't know off the top of my head.
It seems to me that if it's not an important indicator, that's one thing. But if it is an important indicator, it seems to me we could infuse cash into the school.
Make it look better. Because we have the cash.
Yeah, we have the cash to do it. I don't understand how we could fall short. That I'm not understanding what the indicator was. You've explained it now.
Right. Okay, I will look at that and get you some information back.
Thank you.
The second indicator that we lost points on was the administrative cost ratio. This evaluates whether the Academy's administrator cost ratio is at or below the state established threshold. Our administrative cost ratio was 16.32. I'm sorry, 16.23. For our ADA level, the threshold for full points was 1561. So we received 8 out of 10 points. And just to note that this ratio is primarily influenced by enrollment and centralized administrative services. So even a modest change in our ADA can fluctuate that percentage.
And is that percentages, the 16.15, is that percentage of expenses?
That basically is administrative expenses
It's a
divided by
percentage, though,
instruction. Yes.
Okay.
Is that all the Function 41 expenses, or is that
No. Interestingly, it's changing with our next cycle. But for this fiscal year 24 data, they took instructional leadership and general administration and divided it only by instruction, library, professional development, and curriculum. Next year, it'll be over all of the functions. So it'll have some drastic changes in it. So I estimated that if the expenditures stayed close about the same, the administrative cost ratio or the administrative costs would need to decrease by about $36,000. Any other questions? Okay, this slide reflects a 14-year history of the Academy's first ratings. In the early years of the system between fiscal year 11 and 16, The variation in passing scores was the result of revisions TEA made to the first rating accountability framework. During that time, the number of indicators and total possible points were adjusted continuously, which changed the thresholds, requiring a different category to be each category rated. But beginning in 2017, TEA implemented a more stable scoring framework, and since that time, total possible points, number of indicators, rating thresholds have remained largely consistent from year to year.
What happened in 24? Sorry.
That was the year that our audit was
So we
submitted
did
late.
no rating. Okay.
Correct. We
All
got
right.
no rating. Correct. So what does all of this mean? The results of these indicators do have long-term implications for the Academy. Under state law, if a charter school fails to meet a performance standards for 3 of the 5 preceding years, the Commissioner of Education may take action regarding the charter renewal and accreditation process. This applies if either the school receives a low educational performance rating for 3 out of 5 years, or the school receives a reverse rating indicating financial performance is below satisfactory for 3 of 5 years. If a charter were to fall into this category, TEA would initiate intervention measures over a 2-year period to provide oversight and allow corrective action prior to any potential non-renewal or revocation of charter.
Can you remind me real quick, so that you said if it falls under satisfactory, what was the number for satisfactory? Like what is that rating number?
A 70.
A 70. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the required disclosures, this is the final portion of the presentation, which includes required disclosures related to the head of school, executive officers, and the Board of Trustees. A summary of these disclosures is included on page 10 of the management report, and the disclosure details are in the board packet. As required, public notice of this presentation was published in the Fort Worth Star-Telegram to inform the community and stakeholders of our meeting. Disclosure 1, the head of school's current employment contract approved by the Board of Trustees, is available on the Academy's website under the Financial Transparency tab. All salary, benefits, and other compensation are paid exclusively by Westlake Academy through the general fund. Disclosure 2, reimbursements and payments made on behalf of Dr. Ritchie totaled $5,563. These costs were related to professional development, attendance at 2 legislative updates, and their related travel. Payments made on behalf of the Board of Trustees totaled $2,820, representing the cost of the required annual governance training. All expenditures were properly approved and processed in accordance with the financial policies of the Academy. For additional disclosures, there were no funds recorded in the general ledger related to outside compensation, gifts, or business transactions received by the head of school or members of the Board of Trustees. That brings us to the end of the presentation for the Charter First. Do you have any questions? I can help
Questions
you
from
with.
council?
You might have mentioned this, and I apologize if
That's
I
okay.
missed it. Where do we rank this indicator versus other charter schools?
I can look that up. That's a good question.
Yeah, and Dr. Ritchie, I'd like to know, kind of going forward, our peer group for this. We think about, to Michael's question, who is our real peer group when we think about, it's not all charter schools, clearly, but it's who are the top charter schools that we should be trying to compare ourselves to on all this data forward.
Do you want me to include just charter schools in that or surrounding ISDs?
Yeah. Well, I think both. I mean, and this like the admin expenses, is that all charter schools or is it all public schools where that you gave us that percentage?
Oh, that is just ours.
I know, but the benchmark is
Yes, is all ISDs and charter schools.
ISD's charter school.
If you look in the management letter toward the back, there's a grading kind of shows where the indicators, how they're developed, and there's information and it goes by ADA.
Yeah.
So if your ADA is 10,000, then it's this percentage.
Yeah, I guess my comment made, I mean, if you watch the news, you know what's going on with public education in the state. And schools are closing, they're shrinking and stuff, and I continue to appreciate the job we're doing at Westlake Academy with our kids and with our teachers. It is a tough environment out there, and we have neighbors that are dealing with some of these very difficult issues. Any other questions from council? I think we have to open up for a public hearing. I'll now open up for a public hearing. Any comments from the public on our first reading? I will close the public hearing. Arlene, thank you very much. Okay, we're going to go to the consent agenda, and then we'll come back to the other parts of the agenda. Consent agenda, I think I know the answer to this. Does anybody want to pull anything out of the consent agenda for further discussion?
Yes.
And?
I move that we pull items J2 and J3 from the consent agenda.
J2 or J3?
Oh, sorry, J3 and J4.
Okay. All right. Can I get a motion to approve the other consent agenda items, J1, 2, 5, 6, and 7? Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda passes. Okay, J3, discuss, consider, and act regarding WA Resolution 26-03 to approve contracting with Technology Lab to provide technology service to Westlake Academy and authorizing the head of school to execute an agreement with the same. Dr. Ritchie.
Yes, sir. All right.
So we had a 4-hour work session. So I don't know what you want to talk more about it or open up for questions or.
We can do either. However,
What,
Ms.
TJ,
Buchanan,
it's
can we
your,
verify that our guests are on? Okay, thank you very much.
just,
You have anything that you can start us off with?
Yeah, so we can kind of recap the purpose of that workshop. It's been a few weeks, so we went into workshop to really look at some of the solutions that might help as we project out what would be beneficial, particularly to the academy moving forward into the next decade. And looking at how we provide services, we talked about how the shared service model was a means to an end when the academy was much smaller. We're now a 1,000-person organization with very distinct needs that are related to charter schools specifically, and having that K through 12 expertise would be really beneficial in a lot of ways. So making sure that we're in compliance, making sure that we are as efficient and as effective as possible, making sure that all the decisions that are made are through the lens of school-based decision-making, really keeping the school at the center of all of those discussions and processes would be beneficial. And we looked at ways that really the cost of this kind of transition can be offset with things that we're not currently utilizing. So that's where we are to date. And so you saw presentations from Charter Impact and from Technology Lab, the two vetted groups that we've spent a lot of time looking at different companies, what they can offer. These particular groups are before you today for consideration because of their level of expertise, their work ethic, the culture that they present with, and some of the solutions that they have offered in their packages.
and I guess again, I say this a lot. I think I have tenure up here, been around the school for a long time. To me, this is a strategic direction on both technology and finance. When I first ran for office 4 years ago, it was they had put the school under the town manager. First thing I have undone. And, my opinion, and I think, and it's up to council who actually have the vote, is to continue separating to where we have two healthy organizations, the town run by Wade Carroll, the school run by Dr. Kelly Ritchie, and they have all the tools they need to be successful, their budgets, and this is a vital part of that. And I told Wade this today. I know I told Kelly it a couple weeks ago. What I appreciate from my corporate background, and when you guys have a problem, you guys come to with a solution. I think that's exactly what you've done here. So I'm supportive of this. The question that I have is just we have to mitigate the implementation risk, right? We got to make sure it's flawless when if these two pass, we go that we don't have any issues. And however we have to do that, if we have to spend money, Kelly, I want to make sure that it's not an issue. We knock it dead. And look, I've spent time with both providers. I feel very good about that. But that is what keeps me up at night if we go forward. We just got to knock it dead.
Yeah, anytime there's change, sorry, Mr. Dwayne. Anytime there's change, I think that's on the forefront of all of our minds. Any of us who've led change, any of us who've been a part of change, it's the stepping off into the leap of faith that things can be better and will be better, and that you're partnering with the right people to ensure that can happen.
That's key.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
AJ.
So no, I completely agree with you, Kim. I think there's a lot of benefit from splitting out these functions. My main issue with the item in the consent agenda is that there's no way I can approve a contract that wasn't even delivered to us in a final form anywhere before the meeting. And so just reviewing the two draft comments, and I know the vendors are on the phone, they are incredibly vendor-friendly agreements, and the corporate lawyer in me would be negotiating very, very strongly against some of these provisions in this agreement. I just can't in good conscience agree to the provisions, several of the provisions in the technology agreement, which require basically a 5-year commitment with no out and no cap on increase in fees year over year. No data provisions in the agreement for an organization that's going to be managing student data. I presume there should be some FERPA provisions in the agreement. I basically just in a quick review came up with about 12 different items in that agreement. Charter impact agreement, a little bit more streamlined, also missing considerable reps and warranties on their part. We're obligated to do a lot of things. Limitation of liability in both agreements, 100,000 in one, 160 in another. These are not acceptable limits of liability for organizations that have what amount to be $1 million of commitment from our institution over the course of the term of the agreement. And so at the end of the day, the provision or the consent agenda items are requiring us to approve contracts that aren't finalized, and I'm just not going to do that at this stage. To be clear, I am in favor of moving to splitting out various functions. I can't vote for these agreements as they are, as I've seen them in draft form.
Okay, I appreciate that, and I think what's been going on behind the scenes certainly isn't that we're signing these drafts unvetted. We have a very professional and highly accomplished Westlake Academy attorney who's deeply involved in making sure that the Academy's best interests are represented, and that work is ongoing right now.
I'm well aware. So that's why approving the contract now before the contract's finalized actually costs us a lot of leverage in a negotiation with a vendor. And so it's not something that I want to give up as part of our negotiating position.
I don't think we're giving up any leverage until anything's signed, and we wouldn't put ourselves in a situation to sign something that had not been vetted and approved by the school's attorney.
Yeah, I know. I want to speak about the session we just came out of, but sometimes when we approve things, even if we're not signing them, that still puts us in a tough spot. So.
Okay. Janet, did you have any response to any of those concerns?
No, other than to say that, again, the document that you reviewed was the initial document that was submitted by the vendor. It is in no way a reflection of what our expectations would be with regards to the terms of a contract.
Did you have questions, Mr. Dwayne, we have the vendors on our call. Was there anything specific that they might be able to help with to clarify?
I'm not sure open session is the time to negotiate the contract, but my questions were primarily related to the contract. I don't have any specific questions for the vendors that weren't otherwise in the proposals.
Okay.
There were two specific things that I would like to see in the contract. Excuse me. It appears to be a 5-year contract.
One is 5 and one is 3.
I'm just talking about.
I'm sorry,
we're talking about technology lab.
Okay.
Right? 5-year contract.
They're both multi-year contracts, but we have also already acknowledged the fact that the council, we would not be able to enter into a multi-year contract without a termination provision and a non-appropriation provision.
So let me ask you a question.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes, sir.
I got to remember. Now that I stopped you, because you...
That was Todd.
You want to go real quick?
I know.
You want to ask mine real
Okay,
quick?
you go first. Go ahead.
All right. Is there a way we can reword this where you guys can enter into the negotiations now and come up with a finalized draft contract, and that you just bring that finalized draft contract before us, and that's what we look at? I mean, just keep going. I think it's the right thing to do. I want to get it done. TJ brings up some good points. I know we've got a great lawyer, but if you guys just go off and run, I don't think it would impact anything if you just guys come back and bring back the contracts and we get to look at them. Because if it's the best contract we can get, it's the best contract we're going to be able to get. But it continues to give us a little bit of an upper hand because you've got something you can hold over them.
I have one other quick question, though, actually on the legitimacy of the process. Given the size of the contract, at least the last version I saw, the commitment, if it was a 5-year commitment, would be over $1 million value of the contract. We have done no bidding process for this contract. Is there any obligation for us as an academy to actually put this out for an RFP?
So under the professional service, because it's a contract for professional services, the standards are different, and you can certainly choose to use an RFP in order to identify a qualified candidate, but it's not required by the statute.
I guess how is it split up, though? Because a chunk of for the charter impact, fully get that, right? They're providing services. For technology lab, there's a fairly sizable hardware management ongoing, like technology component to it. So it's not just professional services. There is actually a hardware component to that. And we already have at least with Apple for iPads and other technology contracts that we've had to put out for RFP in the past. So that's why I'm wondering how this squares with that.
So and a part of it is also you're amortizing that over 5 years. So you're looking at on a 12-month basis as opposed to a total amount.
Just what's the threshold at which we would have to put this out to an RFP?
Well, under the law, $100,000
total contract value or monthly?
No, per 12-month period.
Okay, so this contract's over $100,000 per annum. Okay.
What other questions?
I just had one more.
Yeah.
That's not a question. It's a request, because we know with technology labs there are certain elements of what they would like to see that we already have. It wouldn't necessarily be what we would want going forward, but we have contracts for them. So if we can't get out of those existing contracts, technology contracts, can Technology Lab use what we currently have, the current contracts that we have, until they run out or until we have the ability to get out of those contracts, so we're not duplicating a cost?
Yeah, I think for sure the idea is not to duplicate costs. That's part of what they discovered. We're currently paying for a lot of duplicated costs, and so that's unfortunate because we have a very limited budget with the academy and a lot of things to be able to try to do with that budget. So I do think that's one of their key priorities, is to ensure that we're not duplicating expenses as we currently are. So as far as the contracts are concerned, there's been a lot of talk about, I think, behind the scenes contracts that we are engaged in. I want to remind everybody we don't execute our own contracts on behalf of the academy. And a lot of the things that we got, a lot of the documents that we got during this process don't even by device delineate or service delineate exactly what is the academy's responsibility versus what is the municipality's responsibility. So some of those contracts need to be cleaned up and sorted out anyway as part of a real process.
At the end of the day, I just want us to move fast on this because it needs to happen. We don't have scale as a town to have extraordinary capability of two different types of financial systems, two different types of technology systems. We just don't. We're not a big enterprise. And same thing happened in our corporate world. We had small companies that had to go out and outsource certain things. And I'm a big believer in doing that. I think we'll have a much better capability. And I think we need to go fast and get this done, but we got to do it smart as well.
Maybe you're saying the same thing I'm thinking, Todd. There are different requirements for the school than there is for the municipality, both from a technology perspective and a finance perspective. Having them overlap doesn't help either side, So separating them makes sense, and I believe that Kelly has done a very good job in doing her due diligence on both of these companies.
Totally agree. Totally support it all. I think the only question is, does she bring back the contract that Janet and her have put together for us, and we just say, yay, verily, it's approved, or do we just let it go and have them do it?
I'm going to push back a bit on Michael's comment, only because we're a small organization, which we are, and I know, Todd, you've managed them, right? Having shared back offices often is a huge cost savings, right? So the thing we're not including in all this is there's the autonomy of managing the different organizations, but there's considerable cost if we're duplicating efforts, right? And so it's put aside any contracts that we're obligated to commit to for an extended period of time. I just want to make sure we're also thinking about this from the cost perspective of the town, because as we just went through with the Charter First report, it's not like the school or the town is necessarily flush. I mean, we have a fire department that needs pay raises. We have, funds that we need for the academy. So I want to be thoughtful about whether or not. And again, I recognize in the last set of sessions there was discussion around sort of an actual accounting of what this is, and as Kelly just mentioned, it's hard to tease it apart, right? They're fairly well intertwined. So I know, Wade, I don't know if you have any thoughts on, or if you had a chance to go through and figure out costs associated with technology and the finance function and what the overall cost savings would be. I know, obviously, the vendors have presented a very rosy picture of what the cost savings will be because they want to make it net. But what actually would it be? And is there, again, if it's net, for sure, let's split it up. But if there is actually going to be, additive cost to splitting it up, then that's something we need to be mindful about. We're not talking about a town that's flush with capital, even though we are surrounded by capital.
Yes, sir. I think that Dr. Ritchie's done an excellent job with her team putting those cost assumptions together. I think the only thing that we can't know for sure, all the line items that she pulled dollars from are accurate. The dollars in those line items are accurate. All that work was done excellently. The thing that we don't know for sure yet is how many contracts we can actually get out of, how much contract overlap would be in place, and those things would have to be kind of gone through during the implementation process or prior to the implementation process to know if there's going to be a cost for Laserfish, for instance, if the school's no longer going to use Laserfish, but we have a certain contract over a 5-year, 10-year period, what's that cost to get out of that? Most of those contracts have some kind of an out clause with a cost associated, so at a no-fault clause. So we'll just have to go through those as we better understand exactly what the third party wants to utilize and not utilize in our current contract systems.
And this is exactly why I'm kind of so concerned that any new contracts we enter into in town has a termination for convenience clause, allows us to test this out and figure out if it makes sense.
Termination for convenience.
Well
Right?
said.
Yeah. So let me ask Diana, can we make a motion to approve this with the stipulation that once they reach a final contract that they want, that they bring it back in front of the town council and we can quickly
I agree with that.
move forward with that?
You can make any motion you like, sir.
Is that rational?
Yeah.
The rationale.
Yeah, because I want you to get permission to move forward.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you
think
can
Mr.
tell-
Gary, could I ask a follow-up to that? What are you suggesting, are you proposing that this would wait until the March meeting for
Well, I'm
approval?
proposing if we need to get a quick meeting in, you just set up a phone
I
call
would
and
suggest that too.
ask him, and we come together and we
Okay.
deal with
So-
that one issue.
Dr. Rich, I think what you're hearing, TJ, I appreciate everybody's input. You're hearing we agree with the strategy. And I was an ops guy my whole career. This is kind of reverse economies of scale, what we've had. When they put the school in 22 years ago, I mean, it's worked really well, right? But now we're growing up, kind of like the town. We're maturing. I want both of these CEOs of their respective units to have everything they need to be successful. This is part of it. In my mind, if cost goes up a little bit, but the service gets substantially better and we eat some contracts on the way, that's just the cost of doing business to get us solidified for the future and really get everything going. So I would absolutely support, I'll vote on making a motion to approve this. Just you have the terms that council's asked for. Do the best you can to get those terms. Get them to me as soon as you can. We'll have a quick meeting together, and I assume the next one's going to be like that too. We'll have a quick meeting together, but we want you to move forward. Did I say that? Yeah.
I think that's right. I think it'd be great, TJ, to get some of the comments written down of the things that we're concerned about, hand them to her, and she's going to take care of that, as will Janet, right? And then bring back what you have, and I'll be here, and we'll get the quorum and hold
Matter
a
of
meeting.
fact, Tammy just pointed out, we have a joint meeting with the Economic Development Committee on the 24th. If you have these points negotiated, ready to go, let's go. But we want you to move forward.
So can I make a motion to approve this with the added language that Kelly and Westlake Academy are going to come back to us with the final recommended contract that we can put together a meeting to approve at that time?
I get a second?
Would that support you? Huh? We're approving their ability to move forward with contracting and negotiate in the best faith that they can to come to an agreement and reach an agreement with the providers with a contract in specific terms, and that they're going to have to come back and bring that back in front of us.
We have two separate items, though. We have a contract with Charter Impact and a contract with
For
Technology.
both of them.
We're just talking about, Technology Lab is the only one we're discussing right now. We'll go to the next one.
Yeah. And my
One at a time.
recommendation would be to
we're
do the
giving
same
her
thing.
permission to go forward and negotiate the contract, which will then, they'll bring the final contract.
Come back with a final contract, her and Janet bring it forward, and bring it back in front of us.
I would want to get confirmation we don't need to put this to an RFP, right? It's $10,000 a month for the student component of this, which involves technology. It's not just services. So I don't want to approve something now and then find out we're getting sued because we didn't put this through to an
We can have
RFP.
that as part of our request.
Would just say that Kelly needs to validate that as well as a part of the negotiation.
I'm sorry, could you state that last part again?
That you need to validate that we do not need to go for a
this out to-
competitive bid process because there's a technology
That's our
component
turn.
associated with it.
Yeah, that's in Janet's
We'll
question.
triple check that. Janet's
Because you
done
answered
it twice.
I thought we answered the question. All right. Say your motion again, and then we'll get a
Oh,
second.
my God.
Can you say it?
I'd like to make a motion to approve, what was it, J3 that we're talking about?
J3.
here? J3.
Technology Lab.
With the added stipulation that they bring this, their final agreed-to contract back to the Board of Trustees for final approval.
Can I get a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye, but I want to make sure that we're clear on the language. In the motion, it's talking about approving contract. We're not approving contract. We're approving that
Negotiating.
Kelly is moving forward to negotiate and finalize a contract that's going to come before us
For approval.
for approval.
Correct.
Got that? Is that reasonable?
Need to restate it.
We need to restate it.
Oh, please.
I agree that you need to restate the motion if you intend to change it, as
Thank you.
Councilmember Yakira said.
You want to play back the video?
Sure, I think I can do it.
So you say the motion.
All right.
We are recommending approving J3, Resolution WA Resolution 2603, with the change of language to say, rather than to approve contracting, that we are approving we're approving the negotiation of the contract with Technology Lab to be brought forth, the final terms to be brought forth on the 24th.
Janet, does that seem like a reasonable timeline? By the 24th?
Well, I mean, yes, to the extent that we can get responses back from the vendor, but of course, because
Oh, vendors on the line.
They've
They
been-
know us. They know
They're
we like to go forward.
very responsive.
Yeah.
We could probably have it done tonight.
Yeah.
Can I get a
Janice,
second?
I'm sorry, Mayor, can I ask the attorney a question, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Why would they approve this resolution? Why would they do that? Why would they just not take action and give staff direction?
that it would be a choice. I think you can either not take action on the agenda item as listed and give further direction, or separately you can revise the agenda to say you're authorizing Dr. Ritchie to negotiate a contract either way.
We're already in that position, so why are we going to take an action now on the record when that's already the current status quo? Yeah.
I want to make it clear that we are supportive of Kelly going forward.
100%.
I don't know how we do that. That's something I think we need on the record. Now, maybe this is a sufficient record. I don't know. I'm
It's the
not a
status quo.
parliamentarian.
So we've been in the process of negotiation with the vendor, so there's no reason to take any action at this point. They continue the negotiation.
Yeah, I guess here's,
Bring the final contract.
I'm still learning the municipality and school board ways. So if this were in my corporate world, which I spent 35 plus years doing, I would tell Dr. Ritchie, you have my approval to go forward and negotiate the best contract you can, but we agree with the strategic direction. And you've gotten feedback from the board on what those issues are, on out clauses and everything else. I know we have, but that's how I would handle this. I think we are, I feel like we are scooting board duties to operational duties. I think those lines get blurred a little bit. I think about how we, on Wade's, on the town things, they fly through. Wade brings us a contract, we look at it, we go, and I think that's what we're asking for. But
So, Kim, I completely agree with you, which is why I'm saying we shouldn't do anything right now, because our only obligation is to approve a contract. So we're going to leave the negotiation duties and that process to Janet and Kelly and the administration.
Just come back and bring the contract. Should be pretty
I
quick.
think our vendor is trying to speak, but he's not. There's no James Pope. Mm-hmm.
James, you there? I okay.
James, can you hear the?
Speaking, we can't.
It's very low.
Okay. Sorry, we're having technical issues.
What?
We all said the same.
Mr. Pope, are you going to try to speak now?
Yes, I'm trying to speak. Can you hear me?
Can you change this right?
Yeah.
We have him on phone, by chance? Michelle, can we get him on phone? Let's just call him and then
Let
put
him
that
get
up
the
to a
mic.
microphone and do it the old-fashioned way.
Okay. When did we have the work session?
January 14th.
When was it?
January 14th.
January 14th.
The first follow-up I had about it was about 4 days ago.
Very
Hello.
Hey, James, can you identify yourself for the record? And then I've got the phone up to the microphone.
Yeah, absolutely. This is James Pope with Technology Lab.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
Awesome. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, they can. You're free to.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Yes, absolutely. So I was trying to chime in there, but I don't know. I can hear you guys, but you guys can't hear me. So I appreciate the time. I wanted to. There was a couple things that I think were important to, I guess, establish, make sure that there was some clarity around. So as far as the non professional services, TJ was referring to around going out to bid and things of that nature. Those are actually going out to bid, as far as I'm aware, through E-rate, which is the federal program for those particular products. So there is a bidding process that is open right now for that. So I just wanted to, I guess, mention that because I think that may clear some things up there on the network hardware side. I think the second thing around the contract, no outs, things of that nature. It's in 1C of our agreement. You'll see it kind of lays out the termination clauses, and so basically, either party can terminate this agreement if we fail to fulfill our obligations, which are in this agreement. And all that the school or our client would have to do in order to say that we are breaching that is they'd have to give us a 30-day opportunity to rectify, those particular breaches that are brought to our attention. If we do not cure those breaches within that 30-day period, then certainly our agreement states that you're under no obligation to be held to the agreement. So there is an out for cause in our agreement. So I just wanted to point those two things out. Happy to talk about that more. Maybe when we come back around if we need to. But those were the two things I was just trying to chime in on.
Thank you, James. Board, is there anything else while James is on the call that you would like to know? Ask?
No, I mean, I think as we've talked through this, and I'm sure the next one will be the same issue, we approve the direction, right? I don't think there's anybody that's against the direction. We want to see the final contract as y'all negotiate. I think that's the question.
So James and Janet and Connor will be working on technology labs and getting that completely finalized so that you'll have it in front of you.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you, James. Appreciate it.
So should we just table this then until whenever Kelly has it ready, and then we set up a meeting and get it done?
Someone make a motion to table it, and we'll do that. Look, I'm viewing this as we're moving forward. Got to negotiate the terms. We don't want to slow down. This is critically important to the school and to the town. So,
Diana, can I ask another parliamentary question? If we table it, can we table it with the understanding that we're bringing it back on a certain date? I mean, on a date certain. I'm talking about next meeting.
24th. Well, we're going to be here the 24th.
Yeah. I mean, this way it holds everybody's feet to the fire, and you can get going once we have a contract.
Yeah, well, does that create any additional stress?
No, I mean, Janet and I have been working on this anyway, so we'll just get it wrapped up.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there's a negotiation to this, and we're trying to make sure it's exactly right.
Okay, I move to table this item until you bring back the contract on the meeting on the 24th for final approval.
Get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. J4, discuss, consider, and act regarding WA Resolution 26-04 to approve contract with Charter Impact to provide services to Westlake Academy and authorize execution of the agreement by the head of school, Dr. Keller Ritchie.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to table this item for Kelly to get the final contract and bring it back on the 24th of this month for final approval.
Just for the record, we are all in agreement with the direction.
While we have the Charter Impact people here, do you want to ask them questions?
That's a great question.
Yeah, they are also on the call.
Yeah.
I do not have any questions.
I'm pretty excited.
4 hours.
Details.
Is this contract in question as well? Or
Contract.
Still in draft?
That's correct. The contract has not been, we do not have a final version of the
All right.
contract.
Make the motion. Okay. Do I get a second for
Second.
Councilman Gunny? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Dr. Trish, I know that's not what you're looking for, but we'll wrap up the contracts. We are moving forward on this.
Absolutely.
Thank you for all your work, and thank you for finding these vendors.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
I'm just saying this because I want to.
Yeah.
You have our support to do this.
Yes. Yes, I appreciate that very much.
And
And
you know that. And
The
it's
Academy
important.
will be better for it, and we're very excited. This is a pivotal moment for making sure that the Academy is as successful as it can be. So
I think it's going to benefit the town also.
Yeah.
I think the town can focus on the town as well, so I think
I do too.
everyone is going to benefit from this.
I agree. I think it's a win-win for sure.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, I'm going to get back on agenda order. We have, do we have any parent comments? We have Susan Thurman, wish to speak?
Hi, my name is Susan Thurman, and I live in Fort Worth. Hello again. I'm here because God cares about how people are treated at Westlake Academy. God also cares about those who have hurt people at Westlake Academy. There have been a lot of people that have been hurt by Westlake Academy administration in the last 18 months. Many people question the ethicality of the use of non-disclosure agreements in educational settings. How many non-disclosure agreements have been written for parents and or employees of the Academy in the last 18 months? Why have these non-disclosure agreements been written? What is the Academy administration trying to hide from others? Do non-disclosure agreements fit within the framework of the International Baccalaureate program? I don't think that they do. And I think that many people would agree with that. I ask that the Academy discontinue the use of non-disclosure agreements with parents and or employees at the Academy. John, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Gormatai, he was one of the founders of the IB, and he experienced the horrors of World War II. He spent some time in a concentration camp. He believed that education could be a vehicle for promoting tolerance, kindness, and international understanding. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stated that the function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of education. Dr. King and the International Baccalaureate program share many core values, but he likely never knew about the International Baccalaureate program as he died the same year that the International Baccalaureate program was founded. This morning, I came across another quote from Martin Luther King Jr. He once said, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." Our teachers are the greatest asset of Westlake Academy. Being a teacher is very difficult, and it is very hard to fully understand what it is like to be a teacher if you have never been a teacher, if one of your parents was not a teacher, and if one of your children have never been a teacher.
Ms. Thurman, you're at 3:45. These are limited to 3 minutes, so we could wrap it up. We'll give you enough time.
Okay, I apologize. A third-party anonymous survey for teachers and parents was requested by the Academy 91 days ago. My understanding is that the board was provided with everything needed to make that a speedy process. A reputable company, appropriate questions, and a way to pay for it. The fact that, anyway, I ask you to please reconsider this. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, regular agenda items. Agenda item K1, discuss, consider, and act regarding WA Resolution 2605, affirming the constitutional and legal rights to choose to pray in school, and opposing a resolution to adopt a state-organized prayer policy for our district as contemplated by SB 11, the 89th legislature, codified by the Texas Education Code 25-0823. Dr. Ritchie, you're back.
All right, so as stated in this agenda item, this is an item that was a result of the most recent legislative session. We had 6 months from the passing of that legislation to decide as a school if we want to adopt a prayer/Bible time that would be instituted during the school day and kind of administered by Westlake Academy. Following the recommendations of religious leaders across Texas, the recommendation from staff is that we not formally adopt this time. I am a person of faith, despite what you might hear sometimes, and I believe in everyone's right to exercise that privilege and do whatever they want to do. We don't restrict religious texts being brought into the school at this point. There's no restriction on that. Kids can have those for private reading time, but to set aside a designated time would also require that we monitor it. It would have to be properly staffed. We would have to intervene if students felt marginalized, either by participation or non-participation. And it seems like not a clear division of church and state at that point. So the recommendation from staff is that the board not adopt this particular resolution.
What's going on with the Ten Commandments classroom?
They've been through a journey. Janet,
there's been a lot of litigation going on, right?
It's
and
it's still ongoing.
It's still going. So
You guys are compliant.
We're compliant,
Yes.
and we have the choice to be compliant or non-compliant here. We'll be
Well,
compliant either way.
We're going to be compliant either way.
And
The
your
requirement-
recommendation is we don't set aside a special.
That's my recommendation, and that's the recommendation of a lot of religious leaders across Texas of multiple faiths.
Okay.
So just a couple comments that I would like to make on this, because I think that I agree with your decision. I also am a person of faith, but I would say a couple of things is my understanding is that if we did adopt this, we would have to institute an additional time, non-instructional time. So that would definitely extend our school day in order to incorporate this.
It would either extend our school day or we would have to cut something else.
Shift something,
Yes.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly is that my understanding is that we do have a moment of silence during
We
the
do,
morning announcements
yes.
every day, which
Every
time
That's
we
exactly right.
allow students
every morning
to participate any
Mhm.
faith that they would like at that time.
Yes.
And also that if we did institute that, then this would force every student to participate in this, or they would have to go through the process of opting out. And it would
out.
create a
That's exactly right. So either way, students would be then identified in ways that we don't currently identify them. And I don't think we have to worry about it at Westlake Academy. I think our students are very accepting, but it obviously labels them in one way or the other. And I don't know that that's helpful in a school setting.
And I would say that I understand the intent of the law and instituting this, but I think that the way that it stands now, I think that our students are afforded the ability to practice their faith how they see fit. We are not limiting that anyway.
That's correct.
And so I think that the way we have it is acceptable. In my terms, I think it's acceptable. And proceeding.
Yeah, I like the fact that we have a moment of silence that anybody can do whatever they want during that.
Yeah, we start the day, it's very nice. We start the day like that with the pledges and our mission statement. The students have it memorized, and then we go right into the moment of silence, and it is just a time to pause and kind of center for the day.
We brought the prayer into town council 2 years ago, this administration. Okay. Can I get any other questions from council? Can I get a motion to approve SB 11 that approved by the 89th legislation? Dr. Ritchie, you provided a summary. Do I have a motion to approve? Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Dr. Ritchie, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I want to make sure I didn't miss anything on the agenda. Okay.
Mayor,
Yeah.
could we restate what was approved? I think what you said was we're approving SB 11, which we are actually opposing.
We're opposing the resolution, so can I get a nomination to oppose the resolution, SB 11?
Make a motion in accordance with K1 as written.
Okay. Can I get a second? This is good the second time. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Let me look through and make sure it's been kind of a hectic meeting, make sure I hadn't missed anything. I don't think I have. We will now go into our second executive session. It is 5:59 p.m. Pursuant to the provision of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code and the Town Council Board of Trustees will now adjourn into executive session in accordance with the authority contained in Agenda Item L2, Section 551-087, deliberation regarding economic development negotiations to deliberate the offer of financial or other incentives to business prospects, A, 2025-05, B, 2025-08. Now an executive